Heyo, you're tuning into Toasted Time, where I cook your time some Reddit stories. Right now we've got TIFU, where we have a selfish girlfriend actually grow up and become a better partner. Our first story is by Terrible Ad. I've been living with my boyfriend for almost a year now and have been living together for about 3 months. I work at a salon and make just under 30k, whereas he makes almost 150 at his job, and unsurprisingly, since we are living together, he is covering all of our living expenses, which is a blessing. 3 days ago he came home and told me that he lost his job, and I straight up panicked. And first thing I asked him was how we were going to live, and he didn't say anything. He looked super defeated and just went in and took a shower, and afterwards he went for a walk and still didn't say anything to me. And so I figured that he must have been panicking as well and didn't know what to say or how to deal with the situation. We barely talked since then, and I went home last night and my dad could tell that something was wrong, so he asked me and I told him that he lost his job, and his first response was, "That is alright, he is the smartest kid I know. He'll find a job that pays him double." I then told my dad everything that I said, and he told me that all your man needed was for you to reassure him and hug him, but instead you only thought about your livelihood and showed no concern for him or the difficulty of being jobless. And I brought it up to him this morning, and he said that he does not care about the job. He can have another job by next week if he wants to, and has enough savings to maintain our current lifestyle for over a year, but told me that he was very demoralized and hurt by my priorities were in the situation. And now I feel like such an a-hole and unsupportive girlfriend. I don't know how to make it up to him. To which OP then made an update. We talk things out, make plans for the future, and we will be fine. We've made up. He's got a couple of interviews lined up after posting his unemployment on LinkedIn, and he wants to take a little time away from everything to decompress, and we're taking a trip tomorrow near the Ozworks to spend the weekend and enjoy each other. Thank you everyone for your inputs, both positive and negative. I really learned a lot from the experience. Alright, how about that? A quick little story, but where there is actual growth that happens in the story. OP became a better person. That is a great outcome. Now, I do have to say, I think the one thing I really take away from this the whole entire thing is the lacking amount of education that happens there. This man is making 150k a year, and after he says he goes jobless, OP immediately panics. Like, if he is making 150k, you guys should by all manner of words, you should be fine. If you're not fine, you are having problems that are much bigger than him losing the job at that rate. If he is making 150k and you are actually in a point where you need that job, you have a problem. You have a problem, and it is not the fact that he's jobless, it is the fact that you're spending way too much on something else. So I think the one thing I really take away from this story is the lack of education on how money works and what it actually means. The 150k, the dude could be making 75k, and well, granted, I don't know where you guys are living or anything. Don't know if you have a mortgage or you're renting or anything, but he could be making 75k, and you guys would be sitting just as right as rain as you were yesterday. Like, the 150k is just more money at that rate. You don't need to panic. You have a surplus, like a surplus of money still in the bank. So yeah, the one thing I take away from this is the lack of education. Anywho, this was a good ending, so I don't want to take away from that, because OP did learn from this, so that is always a good thing. Thank goodness for a healthy relationship, I guess. And you continuing on. And the next story comes from Scott. So, my wife and I have a very lighthearted relationship, and I like to joke around all the time with her and make her laugh. And I do dumb things all the time to make her roll her eyes and call me an idiot jokingly. I was outside barbecuing with headphones on, sipping a beer and listening to music, and I look over and see my wife walking outside holding her phone up, obviously recording me or taking a pic, and I instinctively pull down my shorts down and start doing the helicopter, and she immediately looked mortified and turned around quickly and went back inside, and I was very confused at her face, so I finished flipping burgers quickly and went inside to find her with her head in her hands on the couch with her face red. And I asked her what is wrong, and she told me that she was video chatting with her grandparents, which she has never done before, and showing them around our house and showing me barbecuing. I have never met them before and have only seen pictures. To say I am embarrassed is an understatement. So, hear me out. This is essentially that the grandparents were watching an X-rated video and they just skipped to the point of where the action started. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong down below. That is essentially what happened. They were watching a video and the girl was walking up to the man doing stuff at the barbecue and they're just like, skip it, let's get to the action part. And they got more than what they bargained for. Anywho, continuing on. And we have yet another story from Scotch Talkberfest. Me and my wife are always joking and winding each other up. And out here in rural Australia, possums sometimes get into people's houses, and not that common, but it is not unheard of. I went into the garage one night because she heard a noise and was scared and asked me to check. Went to the garage and nothing was going on, so it was probably just something that fell off a shelf. But I sensed an opportunity for a joke, so I got naked, climbed up onto the highest cabinet and shouted, "Oi, you won't believe it, there's a possum in here." And at this point, she was on FaceTime to her mother, a lady in her 60s, and her panic was over and she was on her way, excited to see the possum, still on FaceTime, going to show her the possum. And so she comes in filming, and the first thing she and her mother see is me, a fairly fat guy, stark naked on a cabinet, front teeth biting down on my bottom lip, and making possum sounds. And what is with these stories that I chose today? They are all more or less kind of the same. No, not the first story is different, but the last story and this story are oddly similar in what we're talking about, and I don't get it. Now, someone in the comments pointed out a very good point. Whoever built the cabinets made them proper. Like, if you're just there, like, I mean, if you're just sitting on a cabinet and they're standing strong, then, man, I tell you, someone built that shelf properly. So, good on you for having a good cabinet. Sorry, I said shelf, I meant cabinet, but good on you for having a good cabinet. Anywho, continuing on. And the final story comes from me, Norwegian someone. So, we've been sort of seeing each other on and off for a while now, and never really getting serious with it. He is quite a bit older than me, and he has a teenage daughter, and it has sort of kept us from going further. And not that either of us really mind. I mean, fun is fun, and I think we both know that maybe it is not really the right moment for me and her to deal with each other, and that he needs to keep things separate too. But things have gotten to be a bit more serious either way. We really like each other, so things sort of just progress on its own. I spent a few nights there this weekend and had a really great time, just the two of us. And then I went home since she was coming back for the week. And of course, like a big dum-dum, I left my night bag in his bathroom. With makeup, lotion, toothbrush, and toothpaste, and of course birth control pills and protection. Yeah. Needless to say, he had to deal with that and had kind of a big fight with her and told her about me. To which then get a comment thread that I wanted to read off, starting from Natural Karab. He fridged up too. I have a girlfriend and kids who don't know about her. My girlfriend leaves her stuff at my house more often than not, and I always do a quick sweep of the house before my kids come back to make sure I'm not going to have any unwanted splaining to do. I'm just waiting for one of the kids to ask why the pillows smell like perfume. To which then OP below that says, Yeah, but I mean, it was my stuff, so I still feel a bit stupid, haha. I get it, but it comes with the territory. In the past few months, my girlfriend has left a necklace, a cupcake tin. My kids actually asked about this one, but I had a Super Bowl party and was able to play it off. Hairpins and clips, her shoes, her glasses, all on separate visits. If I don't want my kids to know I have a girlfriend, I know I need to double check that they're not going to find something that raises questions. And I might note that we don't have the age gap that you do, but my divorce from their mother isn't done sneaking its way through the courts yet, and I don't need them or their mother to know that I've got a girlfriend while the divorce is still fresh. How old are they? 10 and 13. The 13-year-old would handle the news just fine, but the younger one has taken the divorce pretty hard, and I'm just trying to focus on providing as much stability as I can. Hey, dude, you probably don't want to hear this from a stranger on the internet, but I'm really happy that you're trying to keep everything stable for your kids. I'm sure the divorce is hard, but as you said, they're 10 and 13. They don't need to deal with it. Seriously, you're one of the best people I've heard about today for trying to keep them out of it. And yeah, no, Natural Karab puts it perfectly. It is just as much as OP's fault as it would be the dude. I mean, granted, the dude is old enough, he should just know better. In my opinion, he should just know better. Now, granted, not saying that OP shouldn't have known better, but they both should have known better to make sure that they got their stuff. But, I mean, mistakes do happen. So, yeah, no, I agree with Natural Karab on this. It is just as much his fault as it is OP's fault on this whole thing. And to comment on what Natural Karab is going through, I also have to agree with what that person said. Natural Karab is doing it in a good way, keeping the kids out of the loop on the girlfriend because they don't need to deal with more drama in their life, you know? So, yeah, I mean, in the story, from the main post, I have to say, Natural Karab in the comments is doing it right, in my opinion. Anyways, well, that is about it for those stories today. But if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe to become a fellow bread bag. But aside from that, I post 2 new videos every day, so I hope to see you next time toasting session. But until then, have a good one.